Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I filmed this Get Ready With Me featuring Victoria Beckham Beauty and a few products from her that I recently picked up, which was my first kind of dip into the brand, and I really enjoyed everything I tried. So I'm sharing reviews of the products that I picked up, and I'm also talking about intentional shopping, being conscious consumers going into the holiday season, and just sort of best practices for managing a beauty wish list. So I would love to hear what your best practices are if you're eyeing anything going into the holiday season and the way that you are approaching intentional shopping. So leave that in the comments below and keep watching, and I hope you'll like and subscribe. So these are my first purchases from Victoria Beckham Beauty. Even though they have had my attention for a long time, I was just kind of waiting for the right time and for them to release products that I knew were really calling my name. And when they did release the lipsticks and then the lid lusters back to back, I was like, okay, it's time. And something that I'm interested and have been really kind of thinking about in my own life is my purchasing practices. I don't always hop on the newest release, even though I did with this brand. It's because I have been planning to purchase from them for a while. And so I'm curious, like, leave in the comments what your makeup purchasing habits are, or rather how you curb impulse spending or overspending on beauty. For me, I always keep a list of things that I'm interested in, and I wait a little bit, and if I want that thing a few months after, then I know, okay, like this is something that is going to have some longevity in my wardrobe of beauty or my actual wardrobe of clothes. So I'm curious what your practices are, especially as we go into the holiday season, and it's Black Friday this week, and Thanksgiving, obviously. I'm just trying to be really conscious about how and when I am spending. So let's get into the beauty bits. I have the Smoky Eye Brick in the shade Tweed, and the packaging is so luxe and heavy. It has this like tortoise shell cover, and it clicks open. It is truly like a card case, and it's basically the size of a business card. I knew it would be small, but it's like very small. It's cute, I love it. I mean, part of the reason why I bought it was because of the appeal of a small palette like this, of having something with just neutrals that I could pop in the crease or to be the foundation of a different kind of look. So I am just going to take actually let's go in with the Sonia G Classic Crease. And I'm gonna go into this light brown shade right here and just sort of contour the eye a little bit. The lid lusters are going to be the star of the show, so I'm not gonna do too much with the Tweed palette, but I have shared a few looks on my Instagram. So I'm gonna lay this just lightly in the crease, and this shade in the pan does have a bit of shimmer running through it, but I don't find that shimmer translates on my eye itself when I'm blending out. It's almost like they just sort of blend away. And it's kind of a basic camel brown sort of shade, but it's the sort of shade that I use as a transition in pretty much any eye look, really. And that's the appeal of this palette, I think, is its versatility. I'm gonna do the same thing on the other eye and just buff this into your crease area. If you have Asian eyes, monolids, hooded eyelids, I like to buff a transition shade really high, almost up to my brow bone, just because that's where most of my real estate on my eye is. And I find that a lot of makeup tutorials that are made for not Asian eyes or not hooded eyes refer to the crease and all the time, and the crease is really different for a lot of people. So really just wherever your transition area is, where you can actually see the shadow when your eye is relaxed, that's where I like to start building up color. So This is an eyeshadow formula that it's not revolutionary, it's on the drier side, but it is very finely milled. So I find that it's pretty easy to work with. It's not like uber pigmented where, you know, you have to lay down color and blend and blend and blend. It's very easy to work with. It's not going to change your life, but it's a really nice, like, elevated staple, which I find is kind of what is at the heart of the brand. Like, none of these are going to be the product that gives you that like crazy, exciting, cutting edge sort of look. It's really about chic, sophisticated, yet simple and wearable glam. So I'm gonna leave that there, and I'm actually going to buff the same shade along my lower lash line. So in terms of eyeshadow, I'm just going to leave that there, just really buffed out, so that I can move on to the star of the show, which is really the product, the release that made me pull the trigger on the brand. So these are the lid lusters, and I am such a sucker for a one and done eyeshadow. I mean, I just love the idea of a multi-dimensional sort of pressed pigment like these that you can buff out the edges. You don't even need the transition color that I put down, and just go. And it gives you a very finished look without having to work so hard for it. So these are the lid lusters. They again come in the tortoise shell sort of packaging. They're weighty, and like other pressed pigments, they have a stopper. So you want to keep the stopper, don't get rid of it. This is the shade Tea Rose, which is a really cool, like, smoky rose color. It even has a bit of like plum and gold sparkle and sheen running through it. It's beautiful. It's very multi-dimensional and creamy. It buffs out beautifully, and it just gives your eyelids that like kind of wet, shiny sort of look. So that's Tea Rose. And then next we have the shade Honey, which is kind of this golden bronze sort of shade. And this one's a bit more reflective than Tea Rose. Tea Rose is slightly more subdued, but Honey has sort of brighter micro glitters running through it. So this is what it looks like swatched. I have better swatches of these on my Instagram, so go check them out there so you can see them really close up. But that is the shade Honey. So I don't know if you can see in the camera, they are very reflective. They do give you that wet look on the eyes, and they're just beautiful. So let me show you how I apply them. I'll do one on each eye. Just gonna take a sip real quick. This is my Waterloo sparkling water in grape. It's delicious. It gives you essence of grape soda without actually being grape soda. So I'm gonna go in with Honey on my right eye. These do work best, like most pressed pigments do, with fingers, and part of the reason why I really enjoy this pot in particular is because it's a little bit wider in diameter than a lot of the other sort of pressed pigments out there. That means that because I like to keep my nails slightly longer, I can still fit my finger in it without like scratching it up. So I just smear it over the eye, just all over the mobile lid and even above, and it doesn't give me any fallout, and it's really easy to work with. It's very easy, I find, to blend out the edges to sort of diffuse into that initial beige brown shade that we had put down, and that's really it. Like, that's your eye look, and it's so easy. You can obviously go back with a brush and sort of buff out the edges if you want to perfect the blend, but even without the brush, it just gives you a really nice, like, complete sort of eye look. So I'm gonna build up the shade a little bit more so you can see what it really does on the eyes. So I really diffuse it up towards my brow bone so you can really see the color. I just think it's stunning. I mean, I love a bronzy eye and I love golds. This is kind of like, almost like an antique gold, and I love the way that looks with my skin tone. I think it has just the right amount of warmth without being a true warm bronze. It's not like orangey or coppery. So that is Honey. Next up, I have Tea Rose, which is that smoky rose sort of color. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to sweep it all over my mobile lid and into my transition shade. So this one is deeper than Honey. It's a bit more smoky and more neutral in tone. And again, I just sort of blend it out with my finger, and it's so easy to apply. I find that I don't really get fallout with this formula. I have heard some people say that their first releases of these, they included, I think there were like maybe 4 shades, did have some fallout, especially the blue shade. So I don't know if they've adjusted the formula, but I don't get fallout with these. And they just wear really nicely throughout the day. Like at the end of the day, I will have full pigmentation on my eyes. And I do use an eye primer because I have oily eyelids, so that's sort of a must for me. But a lot of times with pot or cream hybrid shadows, they wear off a little bit more quickly because of the formula, and these just stick around. So I'm gonna take my brush again and just lightly buff out the edges. This is not like a precise sort of look, which I love. I really like a imprecise glam sort of look. So that's Tea Rose and that's Honey. Mascara and a little bit of dark brown liner just in my waterline off camera, and I'm here to finish off the face and to go through the lipsticks with you. So for the face, I am going to use a couple of cream products from Fenty. I'm going to use the cream bronzer in the shade Macchiato, which is a really nice like yellow undertone bronzer, which is what I like. And I'm also gonna use their cream blush in the shade Rose Latte. So I'm gonna do bronzer first. Let me just grab a brush. This is a mini Sephora 55 brush. And I just like to tap it and coat the brush in the product and then just lightly stipple it onto my cheeks. And it gives me a really nice, I can use this shade personally to sculpt a little bit, which I really like. And I'm just gonna diffuse that. Nothing too heavy, just light on the cheek. And then I'm gonna go into the Fenty cream blush in the shade Rose Latte, which is this beautiful, like burnt kind of brownie rose sort of shade. I'm just gonna take my sponge and tap it into the blush directly. And then I stipple it onto the cheek, just like that. I'm just tapping it out. And you can see how that complements this sort of, this look really well, this like brown neutral. Just like that. It's a really quick cheek look, these two together, and I use this combo all the time. So we're gonna finish off the look with the Posh lipsticks, which are so beautiful. I mean, the packaging on this whole line is stunning. She nailed it, but these are skinny and weighty, and this is sort of a gel lipstick formula that is pretty sheer but buildable. So this is the shade Girl, which is a peachy sort of warm nude right there. And then I have the shade Spice, which is, I find to be pretty unique. It has kind of an orangey undertone, and it's more brown than Girl. So I don't know if you can see there. I'm gonna put on both so you can see how they look. Let's start actually with Girl, because this is a little bit lighter. It's a little bit lighter. It's about as light as I can go with a nude shade. So these are really easy to use without a lip liner if you'd like. But this is definitely right at the edge of what I feel comfortable wearing in terms of a light nude. Like I said, it's creamy, it's emollient, it's a little bit waxy on the lips, which is why I would say it's a sheer lipstick and not a sheer lip balm, if that makes sense. But super creamy and comfortable, and they stay on for a couple of hours if you're not eating or drinking, despite being pretty emollient. And then I have the shade Spice, which is that sort of orangey warm brown. And I think this is my favorite of the two. It is the kind of nude, brown tone nude that I look for in a lot of lines, because I find that it flatters my undertones best. And it gives me sort of that slightly grungy, like 90s vibe, which I love. So I am actually going to pop a little bit of Girl in the middle of the lip just to show you how they work together. Just in the middle of the lip to sort of highlight the lip, like that. And then I'm actually going to grab a brown tone lip liner to really amp up the lip look. I have my favorite lip liner. This is Anywhere Caffeine by Makeup Forever. This is their artist lip pencil line. You can use it anywhere on the face, but I prefer this for lips. It's my perfect sort of like cocoa brown tone nude. So let me just show you. Just going to lightly sculpt the lip. All right, so that's the finished look. You can see what a difference the lip liner made with the lipstick. I love that combo, the Anywhere Caffeine with the Victoria Beckham lipsticks. I actually also just ordered her lip definer, which is her lip pencil in the shade number 2, which I think may be pretty similar to what I have on, so I will show you that sometime soon. But just to go over all of the products, I love the lid lusters and the lipsticks the best, I think. The smoky eye brick is beautiful. Obviously, the packaging is luxe. I think I'm gonna get a lot of use out of it because those matte neutral, warm neutral shades are something that I reach for with almost every look I do. But I don't think the formula is, you know, life-changing. If you have a lot of powder eyeshadow palettes, I don't think it's a need. The lid lusters are what really blew me away. I think the formula, whether it's repackaged or reformulated or not, I think the formula of honey and tea rose in particular is stunning. I mean, it's just what my single pot eyeshadow dreams are made of. I have been reaching for them a ton, especially for just a quick eye look that still looks elevated and chic. And then lastly, the lipsticks are beautiful. I am very into a sheer lipstick right now. I think the undertones of the shades that she's curated are really unique and thoughtful and will suit a really wide range of skin tones. I'm actually curious to try some of her deeper shades, so I may pick those up sometime soon. I'm actually keeping an eye out for her Black Friday sale. So if you have any questions, let me know. I hope you enjoyed getting ready with me. Let me know if you liked it. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Okay, bye.